See something you like on the show? Did you know that we have links to the products used on the show in the description? If you're watching on YouTube, look below the video. Click the More button, and you'll find links to products used in the show, as well as more information on what you'll learn in this episode. On Facebook, click on the video that you are interested in. Look at the top right of the video and you'll find the description. If there is more to read below the viewable description, click See More to view the full description and pertinent links. There's some pretty helpful info in there. Now you know. Happy sewing!
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Three Themes Live. I've got Allison with me. How are you?
I'm just great. How are you?
I'm doing well. I am so excited for today because we have another jam-packed show filled with, holiday traditions and a very special guest, too.
Yes, one we love.
Yes, so I'm very excited, and we're happy to have you here today. Welcome to Three Themes Live, where theme number 1 is something to smile about, theme number 2 is something to learn, and theme number 3 is something to discover. Let's go. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Three Themes Live. I'm Kris here at my girlfriend's quilt shop, and I'm so thrilled to have you join us today. This week we are talking about stitching the season, stitching to celebrate, different traditions from all around the world. And as you know, yesterday we talked a little bit more about the Christmas traditions, and we had our wonderful girlfriend Cordy join us, and it was absolutely lovely to be able to hear from her and hear about how they do some of the traditions a little differently with her family in New Mexico. Absolutely loved the conversation. And, I just felt like in prepping for today, I thought every culture celebrates in different ways, and it's important that we recognize that and that quilting extends beyond a quilt block. It's a way of celebrating tradition, right? So today, we're diving a little bit further into Hanukkah, which I am so excited about. And I've got Allison here with me today to help me do that. We have a great project planned.
I know, we really do. Hanukkah, I absolutely love. And even though we don't celebrate in my household, I've always been raised to understand different traditions. And I just love the whole thought around Hanukkah, the gift giving and the party and the fried foods and all the things. And then I was lucky enough to work in New York a little bit. And I worked for a big company, and the owners of the company were actually Jewish. And so they would put up a menorah and a Christmas tree every year and celebrate all traditions and to be immersed in all of that.
I love
so
that.
I'm so glad you asked me to be with you today. So excited for our guest and so excited to participate and learn a little bit more.
Wonderful. Well, with that being said, I love what you shared, Allison, and we're so excited because we have our girlfriend, Judy. Oh boy, Judy, I'm going to probably say this wrong. Either Reiss or Rice, you correct me, coming to us all the way from New York. And we're so happy to have you here with us for theme number 1. How are you?
I'm fine. It's Reiss, and I'm actually in Bucks County, Pennsylvania, near Philadelphia.
Oh, in Pennsylvania. I was thinking New York. Okay. All right,
We're
Pennsylvania.
She's just a few hours drive away, right,
Yeah,
Judy?
there you go. Okay.
About an hour on the train.
Okay.
Okay, so it's Judy Reiss. All right, I will
Reiss,
never forget that now. Judy, thank you so much for coming on. You know, you and I had a chance to visit for a few minutes before the show started, and I was telling you that I was so looking forward to today because in the past few years, we always try to honor different traditions here at my girlfriend's quilt shop. It's not just about, you know, one season or one holiday in particular, but sometimes we don't always get it right. And I said, you know what, this year we're going to get it right. And I'm going to have Judy come on and share with us a little bit more about Hanukkah, how you celebrate, what are some of the traditions that you have in your family. And so I'm so happy that you've joined us today. So let's start off with, why don't you just tell us a little bit about your family?
Okay, my family they all live here. We had 4 sons and 1 daughter. You may know we did lose a son 9/11.
Yes.
But my other 4 children all live here. We have 8 grandchildren, 7 girls,
beautiful.
1 boy. That picture was taken a few years ago at a public Hanukkah menorah lighting. And it's 2 of my sons and a bunch of the little ones. The littles, as my oldest granddaughter calls them, the
The
littles.
littles, I love that.
Oh, they're beautiful,
Oh,
Judy.
they are.
They are just beautiful.
And you are so fortunate because you have all of your children nearby, right?
Oh, yes. One of them lives right down the street, same side of the street, about 9 houses down.
Oh my goodness.
The others are within a mile. They're within a bicycle ride or a good walk.
Aha, there you go. I love that. You know, Sable is sharing in the comments that it's so nice to see you after seeing you in so many MGQS and the club activities over the past few years. It is nice to put a face and a name together,
absolutely,
isn't
and
it?
a voice. I mean, you know, yes, absolutely.
So, Judy, why don't you tell us a little bit about the Jewish holiday, Hanukkah? You mentioned something interesting to me, that it's celebrated a little differently here in America than it is in Israel, right?
Yeah.
Tell us
Now,
the difference.
Hanukkah historically Hanukkah was, it happened about 168 years BCE, before the birth of Christ.
Okay.
And the Greek Empire in Syria ruled over Judea, and they outlawed all practices that were not Greek. And they defiled the second temple by installing an altar to Zeus. And a very small group of people, very small men, and they were led by the priest Mattathias and his son Judah, who was known as Judah the Maccabee, which means the hammer. They rebelled against the oppression. And they were victorious. It took them a few years. And in 164 BCE, they successfully regained the control of Jerusalem. And when they went to clean the temple, in every temple or synagogue, even today, we have what's called an everlasting light. It is a small crude of oil that burns all the time. It represents the eternalness of God. And when they got there, they only had enough oil, and it takes several days to purify the oil, where they thought it would only burn for 1 day. But they lit it to say prayers, and a miracle happened, and the oil lasted for 8 days, which led to the festival of Hanukkah. And this happens in very late fall.
Yeah.
And it is the 25th day of the Hebrew month of Kislev, which is why it moves around a little in the English calendar.
Okay.
And our calendars are based on the moon. And it is in the darkest part of the moon, in really what is the beginnings of winter. And the light also represents the light that we want to bring into our lives and into our families and into our communities. So to show you, we do light a menorah. It has a helper candle, and each night we add a candle. The reason being we start with 1 and go to 8 is we want to increase the light. And in Israel, every home is lit. There's lights everywhere. It's very social. I mean, like I said, it is the beginning of the winter. It is dark. So all of the lights bring people out. Here in the United States, it's become a custom to celebrate each night. We eat foods that are cooked in oil, fried.
Wow.
A lot of oil, a lot of mess,
oil.
but we give presents to our children each night. Now, the presents can be pennies, where we play the game of dreidel.
Okay,
And the dreidel
yes.
is the top, and it represents that when people were studying the Bible, to hide from the Greek Syrians, they would take out a top and pretend to be gambling. So they wouldn't know they were studying.
Oh,
So-
wow. Okay.
Yeah,
That's so
these
cool.
were true people, let me tell you. So these are the letters that are on the dreidel.
Yes.
And it's a shin, a hey, a gimel, and a nun. It stands for, I have to say, it stands for a great miracle happened here, Nes Gadol HaYashem. And when we play, when you spin, if you get a nun, you get nothing. You do nothing. If you get a gimel, you take everything that's in the pot. If you get a hay, you take half. And if you get a shin, you share and you add a token into the pot. So children play and they get, my father used to paint gold for us to play with. So we thought we were playing with gold as a little girl. And in our family, at least one night of Hanukkah, we all get together. It's controlled chaos.
Yes.
The grandchildren, the parents, usually some of our friends and their children. And we've had a boyfriend in and out of the mix. As I told you, one of them got a reading pillow. He may not be with us, but he still has his reading pillow, which he has reminded me of because he is a neighbor.
Oh, that's too cute. I was going to say, Judy, at least you didn't make him a quilt, right?
Right.
A
No.
reading pillow was a little bit more doable.
Quilts come from marriage. New babies, marriage.
That's right.
We have a limit.
Yes.
But it's a lot of fun. We pick presents. My husband and I usually give each other some type of token gifts. Our children, yes, they get small presents each night. The night we all get together is usually when they get bigger presents. Because they're getting presents from their grandparents, so we spoil them.
Well, I'll tell you a funny thing real quick is that when I used to be a 4th grade school teacher, we were talking one year about Hanukkah, and one of the little boys said, "I think I want to celebrate Hanukkah because
8 nights of presents."
8 nights of presents, right?"
I heard that when I taught as well.
Yes, yes.
Tell you, here in the United States, we tend to make potato pancakes. That mostly came from Europe, Eastern Europe. And I think I sent you a recipe that we could share.
Yes.
And I sent you potato pancakes that are called latkes. And I also sent one with apples. My grandmother one night would always make us apple fritters.
Yes.
But in Israel, where potatoes are not as common, there are other vegetables. They make a donut called sufganiyot, and it is a fried donut where you stuff it with jam or jelly and put sugar on the top. And I think I gave you my family recipe for that.
I would rather have that, Judy. Absolutely would I rather have a stuffed donut. Yes.
I do occasionally make the donuts, but truthfully, I hope somebody goes to Krispy Kreme and gets me some.
Well, when you're celebrating for 8 nights, when you have to prepare for 8 nights of celebration, 8 nights of gifts, and 8 nights of food, you need 8 nights to rest after
I always say the The best present I could get is like, I always say, I'd like to run away from home and get a 48-hour head start.
Ah,
Right.
yes, yes.
Yes,
You know,
absolutely.
I'll come home pretty quick after.
there you
Also,
go.
in my family, we tend to eat a brisket pot roast as a
Oh,
family.
yum.
Okay.
And it goes very well with potato latkes. And with latkes, if you're eating meat and you keep kosher, you usually use applesauce with them.
Okay.
If you're eating them with a more dairy meal, sour cream. Both work
Oh.
real well.
Okay.
But latkes
Awesome.
are a family favorite. It's a lot of work to grate potatoes and grate onions and fry.
Yes.
But
Wow.
my husband always says you barely sit down to eat. You're always at that big skillet frying.
Well, you have to keep
I
them
have, like,
hot
two
and
big
keep them
skillets
coming.
going.
Yeah.
Wow. You know,
They taste better. You can make them ahead, freeze them, but they do taste best when they're fresh.
oh, I'm
Yes.
sure. No doubt about that. You know, I love the sentiment of light.
Yes.
And that in that tradition, you are celebrating light. You're celebrating that the light grows even brighter by the day, which I think is
Yeah.
beautiful. And I just love that. There was another thing, though, that I remember about Hanukkah, and I'd love for you just to tell us a little bit about it, and that is gelt. Did I say that correctly?
Gelt is money. And
Yes.
traditionally in Europe, even in both Ashkenazic and Sephardic. Sephardic were more Spanish Jews, Ashkenazic more Eastern and Northern European Jews. We didn't give presents. We used to give children gelt, little bits of money. Some was to be put away, some was to be put in a tzedakah or charity box, some was to play dreidel with,
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
and some was for them to spend. So
Yeah.
like I said, my father always painted pennies gold when I was very little, so we could play and think
Oh,
we
that's
had
great.
gold.
That's
Oh,
great.
that's
Well,
so fun.
but
Gelt is
I-
basically money.
now, wasn't the idea of gelt was though to like help other people with the money?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, when children not only are supposed to keep it, but we have in every home what we call a tzedakah or charity box. And every
Yes.
Shabbat, I put money, I put coins in. I taught my
I love
children to
that.
do the same. They do at their house.
Mm-hmm.
And at either Hebrew school or other times when you're in the synagogue, the children bring in the money and donate it so that other children can have what they have.
Oh, see, I love that.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, I
What a
love that.
beautiful
I have
sentiment.
to
And
tell
to
you, when
start
I
in the
was a
home.
little girl, one of our teachers wrote a song, or she had us sing a song about pennies, nickels, dimes, and quarters.
Uh-huh.
And it made us happy to think that we were helping other children.
Oh,
that's
absolutely.
beautiful.
And I think that was kind of ingrained in me, my family. Jewish people believe in something called tikkun olam, which means to repair the world. When you come across something that needs fixing, you're obligated to do your best to try to fix it. You may not be perfect and you may not fix everything, but you try to fix it, which is where planting trees comes in, giving coins and money, making sure that the stranger is welcome, that no one is ever turned away.
How
Oh,
wonderful. I really, really love all of those thoughts and sentiments because I think that's, we need that. We need more of that.
Right. And I love that it starts in the home. And I love that it starts when they are small children. And sometimes I think we get so commercialized, but
Yes.
but you bring it all home. And I just absolutely, that just touches my heart.
Absolutely. And what a wonderful thing for you and your children, your grandchildren, to all come together each year and celebrate in these ways. I think tradition is huge. I just love the tradition of what Hanukkah represents for sure.
It does. We really, like I said, it's controlled chaos. The
Most families are.
so carefully wrapped, as you well know, if you have children, everything that was so carefully wrapped is
Oh, yeah.
torn apart rather quickly.
That's
Yeah.
right. That's right. Oh
You,
my
you work
goodness.
hours for food, and then you're done in 20
There you
minutes,
go.
and then you have a pile of
It's
dishes.
just like
and-
Thanksgiving and Christmas
Right.
too, right?
For 8
Yes,
nights.
it's like-
Yes, for 8 nights.
It's like I work days getting a meal together and dessert, and well, especially when my boys were younger, it was like they inhaled their food before I could barely butter my biscuit.
Right.
Wow. So, Judy, before we end theme number 1, is there anything else you'd like to share with us that's special about how you celebrate?
Well, I think we're pretty much like, we do go every year at least once to a public Hanukkah menorah lighting. Part of it is the idea being that we're supposed to spread that light to our community, and I am very active in my community. So to me, it's important to be there with my children to celebrate, and it's just, I can't explain. It's just a lot of fun for the week, and I'm glad when it's over. I need a rest, but
And
I'm honest.
what day does it fall on this year, Judy?
I believe this year it's mid-December, around the 12th. It's a little earlier than Christmas. Matter of fact, I think the last day may be Christmas Eve. I'm not quite sure. To be honest, we're still celebrating the festival of Sukkot, the Tabernacles, and tonight and tomorrow is Simchat Torah, which is the birthday of the Torah, where we have finished reading the 5 books of Moses, but there's always something to learn. So we begin reading and celebrate that we're beginning to read it all over again every year.
Wow.
So it's also a very exciting holiday. We march with the Torahs. In our community, there's some streets. We take the Torahs out of the synagogues, march, up and down the street. And a lot of our neighbors come out, and it's a lot of fun.
Oh my goodness. This was so fascinating to me. Thank you so much, Judy, for enlightening all of us. I mean, I just love hearing about how different cultures celebrate. And that's the one thing that we all can have in common, is that we do have reasons to celebrate.
Absolutely.
And we do have reasons to give back to the world, right?
Right.
Wow.
Right.
Well, thank you so much, Judy, for being with us. We're so grateful. And for you spending a few minutes of your time with us this afternoon.
It was so fun to get to know you, Judy.
Yes.
I'm more than just a name and a comment. I know. I just absolutely love that.
Yes.
I have to get to Utah one way or another, and I'm not a good
we would love
flyer.
that.
That's a long road trip, Judy. So,
but just think of all the things I could see that I don't see in an airplane.
yeah.
You definitely
Positive
could. You
thought.
definitely could. Thanks, Judy. Well, we look forward to one day seeing you in person for sure. But in the meantime,
hope so.
we're so glad that we can see you this way as well. Thank you, my friend.
And thank you, and be well.
You bet. Thank you. All right. Wow. Wasn't that wonderful?
Oh, my word. Isn't she a great lady?
She
I
really
mean, you know,
is.
I just have
Just
always
lovely.
loved Judy. And,
Yes.
and I love learning.
Yes.
Like I said, I love learning. And I'm with that kid in your school class. I want to celebrate it all.
That's right. Exactly. Nothing wrong with that. All right. Well, we hope you guys enjoyed theme number 1 today, as we just take a little bit closer look at other traditions and other cultures. And I think it's a wonderful thing for all of us to just keep that open mind and learn about our neighbors and friends.
Right.
Right?
Ask
All
the
right.
questions.
Ask the questions and
Right.
listen and
Yes.
learn,
Yep.
right? There's always something to be learned. All right, friends. Well, we hope that it brought a smile to you today. And I'm excited for theme number 2, because we have a very special project that Allison is going to share with us over at the sewing machine. And it's something that, wow, it's a project that no matter what you celebrate, you can actually incorporate the technique into anything. But today, we especially have a very special project planned, because it's a beautiful fabric line that was just introduced from Riley Blake Designs, called 8 Nights, 8 Lights. Are you ready for it? I can't wait. We'll be back right after this.
Remember, 3 Things Live is where we always have something to make you smile
Something to learn.
and something to discover. Let's go.
How many of you are always worried about thread color?
Yeah.
Your thread color can actually whisper, talk, or shout what
Shout
your
is
quilt
good
is
and
saying.
bad.
Can you see it very well?
No.
Not really. But does it give it some texture?
Yes, it does.
Yeah, but on the back, You definitely can see the design a lot more because we used a thread color that shouted.
Yes.
I like to use the same color thread as what is on my back. Look at how that stands out.
Cute.
Let's say we have a multi-color design. One of the best things you can do when you're not sure what color thread to choose would be to choose what?
A gray, a neutral.
What are your tips as a quilter?
Pick out a couple different colors. And we're just gonna lay them on top. I can't even see that blue.
Yeah, so if you can hardly see it now,
Then we take that off.
unless you want just the texture.
But I'm gonna go to all that work.
You want it to show, right?
I'm teasing.
Time is running out to sign up for Christmas Club. Classes start October 20th. Christmas Club is hosted by Kris and Sherry from My Girlfriend's Quilt Shop. It's a series of classes held once a week at 5 p.m. Mountain Time. You'll work on a new project in each class, and you'll develop the confidence to finish each one.
Like, yay, it worked out.
Sign up for Christmas Club and celebrate the season in style by clicking the link below, or head over to mygirlfriendsquiltshop.com to sign up today.
All right, friends, we are back at set number 2 because we are diving into a project that is beautiful. I love this pillow.
Absolutely. And it's a project that every home can celebrate just a little bit. You know, when I travel, I try to bring home one little thing that reminds me of that trip. And when I learn something new, I like to have something in my home that maybe reminds me of what I've learned and reminds me of that. And there's nothing better than to celebrate the light of the world and a miracle.
That's right. And you know, I think quilting should celebrate every tradition and tell everyone's story. And that's just what we heard from Judy. Thank you again, Judy, for being with us.
Oh my
it was
gosh,
wonderful.
so fun.
I could talk to her all day.
I could too.
Yeah. I have a lot to learn from her. And
Yes.
but this project in particular, again, like you said, it could be any fabric, but for today, we chose 8 Nights, 8 Lights.
Right.
Tell us a little bit about this.
Okay, so this was so fun to look a little bit at the just at the fabrics. We have maybe a little Star of David, the menorah, just so many things that are in the traditional blues, whites, golds, and silvers of Hanukkah. And so I absolutely loved this. So what we are going to show you, a few step outs, is how to make, we'll go this way, this fun. Isn't this a fun pillow? And we call this the Nordic Winter Pillow, but you could do this year-round in so many ways, and it comes together with a charm pack.
Yeah, that's a great thing. You've got charm packs on hand. Wow, you are covered. Although you could create your own charm pack. It's just 5
absolutely.
squares.
Yes, or you could just cut up yardage. I mean, you know, so all of that is really easy. So there's just a few tips and tricks. I don't want to take a lot of time because it's a very simple process.
Okay.
We have the downloadable pattern, and club members, that's free for you in the club.
Yes.
But we do have the pattern on sale, but we also have 3 different charm packs that we're highlighting. One is the 8 Nights, 8 Lights. And wouldn't this be so fun to leave out even through the winter months? I mean, you know. And then we also have a couple of Christmas ones.
You know, how nice would it be too if perhaps you don't celebrate Hanukkah, but maybe you have a friend who celebrates Hanukkah. Wouldn't they be so pleased that you thought of them in this way?
Or just like my mother puts a menorah in the window next to a Christmas tree. I mean, you know, it's just a sign that we understand and we accept, and we love your traditions as much as you do.
So how does this go together?
Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is you cut your squares, and you'll cut a number of different squares. So you have to buy the pattern to find out how many squares you're going to cut. But the hardest part about this is laying out the squares so that you get a great pattern and you're not putting 2 colors or 2 types together. So I'm going to start with 2 squares, which is my top row.
Okay.
So I'm going to hand that to you. It's just a 1/4 inch seam, Kris. I'm just going to have you put that together.
Okay. Sounds good.
And you just sew this together. We're using, what are we using? We're using the Stellar today.
Let me get my 1/4 inch seam.
Yeah, so a perfect 1/4 inch seam is great because it makes it come together in the center so easy.
Okay.
All right.
Let's take a look right here.
Yep.
There we go.
Dun, 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 dun.
All right.
All right, so then what I'm going to do, so I'm just gonna finger press this really good. I would normally take this to the iron.
Sure.
But we're gonna finger press this. So our next row would be 4 squares. So we sew 4 squares together. Now, do you see how easily you could just kind of get this together?
Yes,
So my biggest tip is to cut out your squares and kind of lay them out.
Like audition it before.
Yes,
Okay.
kind of step back and look at it.
Okay.
Okay, so here's a little bit of the tricky part, and this is the first thing I'm gonna show you.
Okay.
So what you'll do is this is not, what's the word I'm looking for? Help me, Kris. So you're gonna put 2 squares on top of 4 squares. So you have a little bit of an overhang here.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, and that's okay because we're gonna trim.
Okay.
So what I wanna do is I wanna just kind of nest my seams. And so the other part about laying this out is that you know which way to iron one way, which
good
way to
point.
iron the other
Yes,
way.
for
So
sure.
I'm going to just pin this in here for you. Normally I would just nest and you can feel it. And by nesting, you're just putting those right to each other. And it's okay if there's a little bit of overhang. I'm gonna have you start and just sew a 1/4 inch seam across there.
Okay. All righty.
All right,
Set
and
this
while
up.
she's doing that, so you just follow the pattern and you'll do 4 squares, then the next one you'll do 6,
So you
and
continue
so on and so
building,
forth.
adding on to
Yep.
the rows.
Yep.
But it's a different number of squares for each row.
Right.
Is what you're saying.
Right.
Okay. Let's take a look. Da, 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 da. There we go.
All
Hey,
right.
that looks pretty good.
Yeah,
All right.
that's pretty great. Okay, so then once you have this, it's like the magic of television. This cooking show, I just went to the oven, and while you were watching her, look, I whipped up the whole
go.
package.
I
so
like
then
it.
we are going to take, and do you see what I did here? Well, dang it. That's all right.
That's all right.
Yeah, what I'm gonna do is I'm going to then add this right here.
Okay.
And I'm just gonna pin the first one, and then you just nest your seams, and
Okay.
then you have the whole center of your pillow.
Wow.
So
Gosh,
I'll have
I'm
you
such
do
a
that.
fast piecer.
I thought I pieced that over here with
Oh,
my
that's
magic
right.
sewing machine.
right.
Yes, you could use the Lori Holt board. That's why we showed it all week, because this would be an excellent time to do this and move this to the sewing machine. But just auditioning those pieces is really, really a good idea.
Yeah, and right here, I'm just taking a look at making sure my seams are going the right way.
Yep. I
that
would
they
pin
nest
every
together.
single on those.
Would you?
Well, maybe not.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Nothing wrong with that, though.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah. Barb says I'm magic. Oh, if you only knew, Barb. All right. So now that we have
Do
this.
you know what I love about this? Let me point this out. Is this is on point.
Yes.
This
That is the magic
this
part.
makes the biggest
so when
difference.
you're sewing here, and then all of a sudden you turn this and you have these perfect on point squares. So the last trick I wanted to show you on this, Kris, is to square it up. So
Okay.
now that you are on point, I brought, and these we do not ship. For very obvious reasons. And it has nothing to do with
Yeah.
the cost. It has everything to do with packaging and them arriving to your house
Yes.
broken.
Yes.
But this I like to keep in my house, and this is perfect. This is an 8.5 inch Creative Grids that's long enough. So I would start here, and you're going to trim, and what you'll do is if you sew this correctly, do you see how, let
Yeah.
me move this over here
Yeah.
so that you can see. Do you see how long here I have a point right along there?
Yes.
If I line my ruler up and then move it over 1/4 of an inch,
1/4 of an inch. Okay.
then I am going to get a perfect seam.
Wow.
Right on that point. So let me grab my rotary cutter, the favorite one, our Ferrari, and I'm
Yes.
going to just cut along there and discard those.
Oh, yes. I
And-
can see that you have that 1/4 inch seam allowance built into it.
Right.
I love that.
Right.
Okay.
Then we'll just turn it, and we'll do it right along this long edge, and you can't get all of this in there, but it's the exact same thing.
So, Allison, let's say you didn't have a long ruler. What would you suggest?
Well, then what I would do, and let's just do it with a short ruler.
Okay.
Okay, so maybe you don't have an 8.5 inch, maybe you don't have a short ruler, so maybe all you have is this teeny tiny little
boy.
girlfriend ruler. I mean, so
Hey, you do what you can.
You use the tools that you have. So what
That's
I would
right.
do is I would go from first one to the next, and you see how I line this up?
Yes.
I would take my rotary cutter, watch your fingers, I would go right to this end, and then I
then
would
just push
slide
it
this
along.
up, get that 1/4 inch, slide this up, and get that
Yes.
1/4 inch, and one more time, And so any tools you have, you can make that work.
You know what?
And then all of a sudden you're perfect.
Joyce shares in the comments on YouTube, she said that would make a cute table runner.
Wouldn't that be darling?
Yes.
And it
I
would be
love that
so
idea,
simple
Joyce.
because all you have to do is build one on top of the other.
Exactly. Yes.
So all of a sudden you
Oh my
are
goodness.
squared up
Wow.
to that point, and you
Okay,
have the whole
easy.
center done on your pillow.
So simple.
Yes.
And it looks a lot harder than it is.
Right. Somebody's going to wonder how you managed to get all of those on point, put those along.
Yeah.
So isn't that fun?
Yes.
Yeah,
Let's take a look at the pillow again.
Okay.
And we can see where exactly that falls into line.
Okay.
Okay, so basically you're putting it down the center
Right.
and adding some sashing on both sides,
Right.
along with some more
Yep,
piece blocks.
with some more piece blocks. Now, how fun is
Wow.
this? The quilting on this, I don't know if you can get any
Oh,
closer. I grabbed this
yes.
off of Clear Blue Tiles, which if you'll use our affiliate link, and you can get this from Kimberbell. Look at this quilting. We have a
got the
dreidel. We've got the
menorah.
menorah. We have some gifts to represent this.
Oh
and
my
so you have the Star of
goodness.
David in here.
Wow.
Isn't that so fun? That
And
quilting on it is amazing.
It is, and you were able to do that so quickly on your embroidery machine.
Yes.
Because of the Clear Blue
Yep.
Tiles method.
I think it took me 4 hoops.
Wow. Okay, that's impressive. I love this pillow. What do you all think? Can you see
so
this done
fun.
in so many different ways?
Yes. Yes.
You know what could also be fun? Let's talk possibilities here. I'm thinking, because when I first saw this at first from afar, before I could tell what the different shapes were, I was thinking, oh my goodness, we have a Utah State pillow.
I was thinking that
Right?
on BYU, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
And so, because of the colors. So I'm thinking, how fun would it be to use school colors
Oh, absolutely.
in something like this, or just an everyday pillow for your home and just
Right.
matching the colors of your home. It would be
Right,
beautiful.
absolutely. Or if you do it a reds and a pinks, wouldn't
Yeah.
it be fun to pull that out for
Oh,
Valentine's, some
yes.
spring colors? I mean, this is just one of those classic
Yes.
designs, classic pillows that just looks beautiful, and you can use any
Oh my
of your
goodness.
fabrics. Lots
love
of
it.
times I think we have favorites in our stash that we don't want to cut up because what are we
So
going to do
true,
with it?
yes,
This is a perfect
Yeah.
project
Yes.
to just put those together and be able to just look at it and
And you could get it done in an evening.
oh, easily.
So-
yes.
so
In fact,
simple.
I did this
Oh.
on Friday night, start to finish. so-
Wow. Okay. And including the
quilting. Yep.
Okay, there you have it, you guys. Sandra is right. She said the turning it on point takes it up a notch.
Oh, absolutely.
Because it would be boring if it was just
Well,
squares.
people would look
right?
at it and go, well, you just sewed some squares together. But the minute
this
you turn
takes
it on
that-
point, you've got these beautiful rectangles. And isn't that such an easy way to trim
is.
that?
It is. I love it. Thank you so much, Allison.
you're welcome.
Any final tips on this project?
Well, it's a great pattern. We have it available. Like I said, club members, download this and incorporate this into a lot. This is a great gift.
Yes.
And so it's
What
just
size
easy.
pillow form are we
18
looking at?
inches by 18 inches.
18 inches. Okay. Fabulous. I love this so much. Wow. Okay. So I'm excited to see what you guys all do. You're going to have to head on over to our website, make sure and grab that pattern. And if you celebrate Hanukkah or know someone that you would like to make it for, we have the 8 Nights, 8 Lights charm pack
Yes, we
on
do.
our website.
Yes, we do.
So, okay, beautiful, beautiful stuff. All right, friends, well, moving into theme number 3, we're about there, and we're going to talk about how we can take some basic quilting shapes and turn them into some Hanukkah symbols, if you will. This is going to be a great project for the kids or even for your next quilting project. I'll show you how to do it in just a moment. We'll be back right after this.
Last week on 3 Things Live, we introduced our new Confidant handbag, and we made some pretty great accessories to go with it.
I say classy. This one is classy.
We made a wall and a key fob lanyard as well, and we discovered some new tools and techniques that will help you get these projects done in a snap. 3 Things Live is a lifestyle show with an emphasis on positivity that serves a community of sewers, quilters, and creatives just like you.
Catch up on this and so much more by watching 3 Things Live, clicking the links below, or join us live every Monday through Wednesday at 1 p.m. Mountain, 3 p.m. Eastern. Remember, 3 Things Live is where we always have something to make you smile.
something to learn,
and something to discover.
Let's go!
All right, we are back. I really
Somebody
enjoyed that.
has been playing on their scan and cut, I think.
You know, maybe. Yeah,
I
you're
don't
right.
know.
Okay, I can't help myself. You know, I love the scan and cut, and I love it for more than just fabric. I love it for paper. I love it for vinyl.
Well, wouldn't
all
it be
the
great
things.
to cut that last project out on the scan and cut, to,
yes.
you know, to cut your squares out?
Exactly. So super simple. But I'm here to tell you that even if you don't own a scan and cut, you definitely want to keep taking a look at what I've got here, because this doesn't have to be just a scan and cut project only. So as I was thinking about Hanukkah, one of the things that really has stood out to me is how much symbolism, you know, and we heard that from Judy today.
Right.
Lots of symbolism. I love it.
Everything goes back to some part of history.
Yes.
And that part of history is symbolic.
Exactly. And so, you know, when we think about some of the symbols of Hanukkah, we think obviously of the Star of David, of the menorah, of gelt, of, oh boy, how did she say the potato pancakes? Latkes, yes,
Yeah.
the latkes. And, you know, lots of different symbols that are so relevant for them. And so I thought, you know what? Those symbols are basic shapes that we see all the time. Your squares, your triangles, your, you know, rectangles, and so forth. So I thought, wouldn't it be fun if I were to take some of these symbols and recreate them with basic shapes? Why am I doing that? Well, for one, you might think of this as a really fun game for the kids. You know, I think even for our own children who don't celebrate Hanukkah, wouldn't this be a wonderful way to introduce them to other cultures? So that they can, you know, appreciate that. So for the kids, this is going to be a great project. But my thought also is sometimes we want our quilts to have even more meaning. And when we talk about celebrations, you know, the quilts that are really stand out to us are quilts that give meaning to our cultures. And so this is the same kind of idea that you could put in your next quilt block. So what I have for you here is a free technique sheet, and I called it Hanukkah Symbols from Basic Shapes. So it's perfect for teaching children, creating scan and cut files, or designing modern minimalist art with applique quilt blocks. So for example, if we look at the menorah, you've got basic rectangles.
Right.
Basic, squares. We have ovals that are pointed at the top. So it kind of gives you like the little recipe for how to make the menorah. So you need, one tall rectangle as your base and stand, one long thin rectangle as the crossbar for the candles, and so forth. And then it tells you how to assemble it.
I mean, isn't this quilting? This is quilting
This is
101.
quilting.
I mean,
Exactly.
every quilt we do are basic shapes reconfigured into a beautiful design.
Exactly. And we got to love applique.
Right.
Because that allows us to do even more fun things with it. Here's the Star of David. If you think about it, the Star of David is basically just two equilateral triangles, just one on top of the other. We've got the chocolate coins, which we talked about earlier with the gelt, a candle with a flame, the dreidel, which is, what a fun game. I think I want to get one of those.
Yes, for everybody.
I think it would be
Wouldn't
really
that be
great
so fun to sit around?
Yes, yes, it would.
And I never knew the meaning behind that, so thank you, Judy.
Yes.
The privately teaching in the
Yes.
guise of gambling.
Yes,
I love it.
Exactly. The latkes and the gifts. And again, you've got basic shapes. So you can take these shapes. What I did was I scanned them into my scan and cut, and I was able to just cut it that way. But you certainly could do the trace method with your heat and bond light and fabric.
Which is
and
so good
forth.
for your small kids. I mean, that trace method, because it develops eye-hand coordination, and then if they're old enough to use scissors or whatever, to cut those out. I mean, there's just so many things that we can all learn.
So are you ready to make a menorah with me for a moment?
Yes.
All right, let's take a look. So one of the things we learned from Judy is the 8 candles, right? And there's one candle in the center that they call the helper candle.
That is on all the time.
So let's go ahead and grab our rectangles. here, and we're going to put 4 of the small candles on each side.
Right.
Again, these are basic rectangles. So obviously I've done it with paper, but again, wouldn't it be gorgeous in fabrics? All right, we've got these, we've got to light them. This could be kind of a fun idea for if you were doing like an Advent with the kids, and you wanted to, you know, along with lighting your menorah each night, maybe they're going to take some of this. Maybe you've cut it out of felt and you're using Velcro, you know, and the kids can put, you know,
and if you
add the flames.
Maybe
to
you
each
are
one.
not Jewish and you do not want to invest in a menorah, but what a great way to teach them what this means.
Exactly. So look at that. We've got our menorah.
Well, don't look at it yet
Again,
because we're only on the
basic
7th
shapes.
night.
Oh, there we go. Phew,
Oh,
we
made it.
got 8 nights, 8 lights. Okay, love that. We're going to set that one aside. How about, here's our chocolate gelt.
Oh, I love those.
The chocolate coins, which I thought was also fascinating about it. And you could put some additional symbols in here. So, for example, if we talk about the Star of David with 2 equilateral triangles, here we go. If we put those 2 together, now we have a little symbolism within the gelt, all right? But we can make those larger. And here we have, again, 2 triangles, the same size, but when we turn it upside down, now we have the Star of David, all right? We can just do 1 symbol of 1 candle if we wanted to. We could also do a gift, and you know, as Judy reminded us that the gift is, they're given gifts every night for 8 nights. How fun is that? Again, basic shapes right here. And then finally, the dreidel. You gotta love the dreidel, right?
Yep.
And again, these are basic shapes, square with a triangle. And we've got another little rectangle here. Let's see, something like, might look something like that a little bit. And she was also sharing with us about the different symbols that are on there. And, oh, Judy, you might want to correct me if I'm wrong. This had something to do with none, I think.
Yep.
Right?
That when you spun the
at
dreidel,
that.
however it landed, you either get nothing from the pot, you share the pot, you get to take the pot,
Yes.
or you split the pot in half.
It's half the pot.
Yeah, half the
right?
pot.
So this wasn't none. This was half
None
the
is
pot.
nothing.
This
That means
is hay.
you just skip.
Hay or high. I don't know. Judy, you let us know. I can't remember which one. But wouldn't that be fun? Because you could, again, these are basic rectangles. Patricia said in the comments, it would be fun to make these into thick felt puzzles to put together.
Yes.
Absolutely.
I miss
Most
the days of
definitely.
flannel board stories.
Yeah, me too. That used to be such a big
I
deal,
know,
right?
right?
And then we've got our latkes right here.
Oh, I love those.
Of course.
They don't
So
look as delicious as they smell.
They definitely don't look as delicious, but maybe we need to add a little
I'm gonna take the
sprinkling or
chocolate
something
instead.
with it. All right. So there's just a few ideas for you to take, you know, some of these basic shapes that we all know and love, and let's create something else with them, you know, whether it's the Hanukkah symbols or any other symbol, you know, a Christmas tree, triangle, rectangle, right? Lots of different ways to do it. So we hope that was kind of a little discovery for you that perhaps maybe you hadn't thought of before, but it all translates into creativity and a whole lot of
outside
fun.
the box. Yep.
Absolutely. So again, if you're interested in that download, you can pick it up at on our website under the as
seen on 3 Things Live. Yep.
As seen on 3 Things Live, and you've got all of your little recipes for making each of the symbols. All right. Okay. So. Wow, what a day.
A fun day.
I
That's so
loved
fun.
this. Yes, we hope you enjoyed today's show too. And tomorrow we're going to dive into
for
Kwanzaa.
tomorrow either. I don't
excited
know
about that.
anything about Kwanzaa.
I've been doing a little bit of studying, so I know very little, but I can't wait to learn more. So make sure and join us, because tomorrow I've got a project for you that, yes, I was inspired by Kwanzaa, but this method for what I'm going to show you tomorrow, you can use for anything. Oh, I can't wait. So before we leave, we want to tell you about 2 things coming up. The first theme being tonight.
Yes.
What is it, Allison?
I knew you were going to make me say that. We've got a Q&A soiree.
Yes. You
About
did
the
it.
club. The Q&A soiree, it's just a live question and answer with Sherry and Stacy. They are going to answer any club questions you may have. I know that there's been a little bit of buzz because the club has been on sale since Sunday.
Yes.
I know that some of you are just joining us for the first time and you're like, what club? I know
Yes.
some of you have questions and have been in the club from the beginning. I've seen those buzzing around social media. So join our live club Q&A soiree with Sherry and Stacy tonight.
In just a few hours.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so that's really
definitely.
fun.
And then this coming Thursday night, make sure and mark your calendars because we have another swig night. And I've got the gentleman who started Create Room, who's going to be with me in the studio. And we're going to share with you this beautiful furniture that's going to make you drool.
You know, we drool a lot about the big lofts and sewing spaces that some of our girlfriends have.
Yes.
But I think a lot of us have a kitchen table or just a little corner or whatever. And this is going to make your sewing room
I gotta tell you,
amazing.
this theme behind us, it's gorgeous, isn't it? It also closes. So let's say you have your sewing room in with a guest room. You know, you've got a bed there and you have guests coming over and you don't want all that out. All you have to do is close
the
it.
doors. Yeah.
Fabulous. And as I mentioned yesterday, the prices are so affordable. So make sure, and you know, even if you're just thinking about it, or hey, even if you want to have a chance to win some prizes, we've got those too. And we want you to join us this coming Thursday night at 5:30 p.m. on Facebook and YouTube. All right, everyone. We hope you enjoyed today. I can't wait to see what you're making. Make sure and post your pictures on the Friends of My Girlfriend's Quilt Shop page. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Keep doing all the things you love, and we hope to see you again real soon. Bye-bye.